This is a message from your guides reading for Human Angel. Okay, so I have my lapis lazuli here. I have only pulled this one crystal for every single Patreon reading this week. So I'm going to go ahead and surround us in some protective space for the reading. Okay, so you've definitely been doing some work on these cords. I know you mentioned that, but it's pretty apparent. And there's some coming down your back. And one of them is definitely out for sure. The thing is, when you're doing like meditations and stuff and your guides are around you, they're going to be clearing you of cords that you're not even seeing as well. So I feel like it almost, they're kind of sending this energy like cut the ones that you're seeing and do work on the ones that you're seeing. But I feel like there's going to be other work going on as well. This that you were saying in the email also makes sense, where you were saying some in the neck and some in the shoulders. Or you were saying that you sensed an energy there in the neck and in the shoulders. But this is actually, these are areas where a lot of cords tend to be held. Neck, shoulders, and the back. We can pretty much have cords anywhere. I mean, you can have a cord on your hand to someone else. You can have a cord coming out of your ear. It's energy, you know, it's etheric. And so you can have them pretty much anywhere. There are sort of almost hot spots in a sense where a lot of people tend to have a lot of cords in those certain places though. Solar plexus as well is an area where people do tend to have cords coming out of there sometimes. But again, especially in the back. The back tends to hold a lot of cords, and yeah, the neck and the shoulders as well. And I've felt some cords with you at the shoulders before. So then you mentioning that in the email, I don't know, for some reason I feel like somehow it is connected to cords, you saying that. Now, definitely it could be connected to a thought form though. Some cords are actually connected to thought forms. So then it's almost like a cord and a thought form. And we're just receiving these emotions and energies and things like this from this thought form in a sense that much quicker, because we also have this cord to them. But a lot of times as well, a cord to a thought form can indicate that the thought form actually came to you from somebody else and you agreed with the thought form and then you ended up having it with you. So sometimes on the one hand, it can be like that or feel like that, like you're receiving those energies in a sense that much faster because they're coming down the cord. But on the other hand, sometimes a thought form that's just there, really in our energy with us, not more standing out here and sending us something through a cord. In some ways, that can actually be more unpleasant in some ways. That can be kind of a thicker programming or energy to deal with. And sometimes it can be kind of easy to even cut a cord. It depends on how thick the energy of the cord is. It depends on how long you've had it. It depends on who it's coming from and your connections to those people. But I feel like you've definitely gotten rid of some of them. And there are some others that are kind of around that area where some of them kind of broke off. It's like some cords around that area are pretty, what's the word for it? I don't know, weak. That's the word I'm looking for. They've kind of lost some energy because at the same time they were kind of bouncing off of those cords. Yeah, a lot of times when you feel like an energy stuck almost on your shoulder or your neck or somewhere like this, where you actually feel something like that physically, and you feel like there's a pain there. I even have that in my back. There's a spot there. I always notice that, and sometimes it takes a little longer than others to get rid of a cord. I've been working on that cord for a while, so. And sometimes you have to know the source of it and things like that. And then on the other hand, like they're saying, sometimes it can be really easy to get rid of a cord. You just visualize it and it leaves. But visualizing can definitely get rid of some of them, and that can weaken others. So regardless, it's a very good practice to do. So obviously not everything is going to clear just from visualizing, whether it's chords or it's thought forms or whatever. A lot of it also has to do with recognizing the thought form, hearing what it says, for instance, or you'll start to go to do something and you'll hear a thought in your head regarding doing it, and it's almost like I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it's almost like you hear the thought separate from your own, whereas it used to sound like you were just thinking this, I'm thinking this sentence and I tend to think this sentence, and then all of a sudden one day you literally hear it spoken almost in your head with this kind of voice that sounds a little similar to your own, but kind of not. And you go, wait a minute, has this been my thought this entire time? Was this actually me doing this or thinking this? And so you can kind of point out thought forms that way. You can realize that they are there. And then it's a matter of catching yourself, stopping yourself before you go and you do that. Or even if it's a feeling, different things that they send. When you catch it, then it's really important to not identify with it. And that alone causes it to sort of unravel and lose a lot of energy and go away. But also visualizing these things, though, removes a lot. So it's kind of hand in hand. But ultimately, regardless of exactly how you clear it, you're not going to be giving into the behavior anymore. However it was presenting itself, whatever emotion it was sending, or thought, or anything. But definitely visualizations can aid you with discovering what those things are, what images they send, or what thoughts they send, or what feelings they send, what they get you to do. So you can discover a lot by removing the cords. You can discover a lot by doing visualizations. You can clear a lot that way. Obviously, you can clear things that way as well, where you don't have to even do anything else. So again, it really depends on how strong the thought form is and all of these different things. So you've definitely cleared some of these. I keep seeing, especially in the upper back to the middle of your back, but then the ones further down, they seem a little bit thicker. They seem a little more apparent. So even in that area, there might be some that are gone now that were a bit smaller, but there are some down there that are kind of thicker. I feel like they're going to take a little bit more time to clear. And I feel like those are specifically going to some family members, and they're holding a lot of energy. So I feel like that's a place to definitely focus a lot of energy on. And that would be also the sacral area. That tends to be a place where we hold on to a lot of trauma, a lot of negative emotions and different things. Okay, so that is all that they have to say for this week. So I will see you next week for our last reading for this month. Thank you so much for another reading. I truly hope that this benefits you. Namaste.